Welcome in to episode 9 of our Let's Play Ara History Untold series, where we are learning the game. We are still early in the game of Ara-ish. We are on turn 81. We are about to found our religion. Huge things happened over the last couple episodes. If you need to catch up on how we got to where we are right now, down in the description below, there is a link to episode 1 of the series. You catch up on all the action leading us up to this moment. We just had a massive golden age come to a close, and we built two triumphs, during that particular golden age to take a massive lead. But we also were, for the third time, brutally forward settled, and war is upon us. So let's see how things play out as we progress our game of Ara History Untold. We are right back here in our capital of Ciudad de Mexico, and I noticed something that for some reason had not at all registered with me, probably because I was just focused on other things. But if we go down here, there is rice down at the bottom in our capital's kind of territory area. It's quite a few claims away, but I feel like we've been spending a lot of time attempting to get... we just witnessed something that I really, think they need to change, which is when you load into a game of Ara, all of the fog comes back. And until you zoom your map out, the fog stays. And then once you zoom out, all the fog disappears that you've explored so far. Not sure why that is a thing, but it is, and I think it's kind of weird. It feels odd having to open up the game and go explore the whole map again, with your screen to get all the fog off. Anyway, we have been highly focused on trying to get more grain in our empire because we have only one source currently in any of our cities. We were going to settle this and get access to these two grains. That obviously did not work out for us. And so we have now come up here and settled this so we get access to this grain and this grain eventually as well. So we have access to some grain over here, which hopefully will net us, grain that we need. But now that I know that our capital actually has access to some extra rice over here, which how long has this been here? Maybe I just have not been paying any attention, but we definitely could have, right? We wanted some claims to make sure we get our docks out and stuff like that. So that's fine. But there's an opportunity to claim out to this. We need to claim, we can't claim this mountain territory right here, so we can't come around this way unless we were to claim this, and that's pretty far away. That might be worth 2. So we have to claim here to here to here, I think. But that might be the path for our next claims, because that would actually open us up for maybe we could stack some weavers or something like that. We could stack one of our industry buildings in one of these territories. We could get access to some bison, which would not be a bad idea. And then we could also get access to some rice down here. Maybe put another farm territory in this area. But there is grain in the vicinity of our capital. It's got to grow 3 more times, and we have to want to claim those 3 territories, which is likely. But I don't know why I hadn't realized that yet. But that is the case currently. Don't forget, we are at war. We have coming out on this turn a archer, and a swordsman. And so we have a full wedge formation that is about to come out. It'll be built. Then we have to muster it, right? Because we are dealing with war against India currently. India declared war on us. We are moving our really powerful wedge formation, our first wedge formation we made, into position to burn New Agra to the ground in retaliation for the aggressive forward settle, but also just in retaliation for them declaring war on us. Now, at the same time, they maneuvered their armies in the opposite way that I thought they were going to go. They maneuvered their armies across from here to a different city that doesn't even border them at all, and now they are poised with a battalion of spearmen outside of our city of Coahuila, and I don't know what's going to happen. If they attack this city, we'll have some amount of turns to be able to get our wedge formation up there. It might be enough. We're gonna security here is only 65, so we want to muster everything out of Neza. Neza's got 100 security, so that's what the goal is. We're gonna try to muster everything out of Neza and kind of rock and roll from there. that'll happen over the course of the next couple turns, but if they attack early, I don't know how long a city can hold out without a defending army, as far as like a battle is concerned. So we will find that out here shortly if they do decide to attack or pillage or whatever in our territory. But we have bought out the 2 archers. This swordsman was already going to be built on this turn, so that's perfect. So all of them will be in reserves on the next turn, and then we'll start mustering them and launch our defense. I think that with these 2 wedge formations, we should be able to battle away anything that India throws at us right now. I think if we want to go and do war with Italy, I think we're going to need a little bit more. Their military strength is quite powerful. So, but right now, against like these measly battalions that really don't have much going for them, when we're mustering things out of a 100 security city that's getting that, what, 10% or what's the bonus? Yeah, well, 10%, 50% force strength bonus. I mean, like we're mustering some very powerful units here, right? We also want to pay attention to this. Our spearman is hunting this tiger, which I believe he could do 1 hunt, and then we probably need to call him off. He's got 50 health. I think you could lose 40, so we need to pay attention to that. Sometimes I forget about those hunts that are going on, especially when you start hunting like higher level danger creatures, like the tigers. We need to pay attention to that so we don't accidentally get our spearmen killed for no reason during a hunt. We need to make sure we heal them and then attack and then we get enough health to not die, even if we roll that 50% chance. All right, but we start today's episode by founding our religion, and we get to see how religion works in the game of Ara. And I will tell you, religion is pretty powerful. Outside of the fact that it is pretty powerful, it is, how do I put this? It doesn't feel consequential to build religious units to spread your religion. At least not that I have experienced or some other people that I've talked to have experienced. For the most part, you get verses with your religion, and you get access to more verses the more your religion is followed. And so the more followers you have, the more you get the verses for your religion. The verses are very powerful, as we'll see in just a second. The problem, I think, is when you don't really have to do much to spread your religion, and then it doesn't feel like the AI really do much to try to counteract that spread. You typically can get all of the verses, and I can't remember what the number is. There's a pretty decent chunk. You can get all the verses that you need just by founding your religion and building a few altars and kind of letting it spread. I don't think you necessarily need like the missionaries and the oracles and things like that. We'll see as the game progresses whether we need those things or not, but that is kind of the thoughts currently on religion in the game of Ara. But let's check it out. You can see right now the dominant religion is unstructured, and we will be founding our religion. We're going to do a custom religion. You can base your religion off of any of these existing religions. There's a whole bunch of options, which is pretty cool. We're going to go ahead and make a custom religion. That way we can name it. And as you know, if you followed any of my other Let's Play series in other games, we like to spread madness around here. And so we will be doing madness. You can also change the description of your religion. So it's got it does nothing, but if you want to, you can come in here and you can actually change the description of your religion if you want to write out something in depth, or if you want to just write something memey or funny. If you're playing in a multiplayer game or something like that could be kind of fun as well. I'm just gonna quote the live stream. There we go. That's all the description we need. You know, that is all the description we need. We can also change our icon. I typically have been going with the tree, but the problem with going with the tree is that's the same symbol that they use for the unstructured. I like the tree sign though. Like the tree is kind of a nice, I don't know, there wasn't anything else that I felt was very, like madness oriented. There wasn't, not that there ever is particularly, but I'm going to stick with the tree just because I like the look. It reminds me of the Lord of the Rings a little bit, you know, if you know, like the tree. Can't remember the name of the tree, which is a little bit embarrassing, but the tree in Minas Tirith and Gondor's like symbol, kind of. That's kind of what it reminds me of. So I think that's why I've been going for it. Now here's another choice that's kind of like, like I'm not sure. I think this needs a little bit of work from Oxide probably. You get to select a special building that you can build. You could build a temple, a gurdwara, a mosque, pagoda, so like very standard kind of things, right? Here's the problem. They each cost something a little bit different, but they all do exactly the same thing. So the Sacred Temple costs materials, timber, and a candle, which can be accessed pretty early. The Gurdwara costs materials, timber, and concrete, which gets accessed a little bit later. The mosque requires concrete and candles, which is actually even more difficult to get. The pagoda is concrete and candles, and the cathedral is stained glass and timber, but a lot of stained glass. But all of the bonuses are exactly the same. Each building is exactly the same, but the cost of said buildings is different. And that is funny to me because, like, the cathedral, for example, costs 10 stained glass, which is arguably much more difficult to obtain than 5 candles and some extra materials. But they do exactly the same thing. So you're just choosing based on a look, like the look of the building itself. I also really haven't found that these buildings get built a ton. They're just not that valuable. You get +1 prestige and you get +1 religious spread distance and +5 city religion spread strength. But again, like I said, because it feels like the AI doesn't really push back against religious spread, kind of just get your verses and spread your religion as you need to. You don't like have to like push for it. Maybe that will change in the future and these buildings will become more valuable. Maybe your experience has been different. Let me know in the comments if you value one of these buildings over another, or if you value, building missionaries and oracles and spreading your religion. I could see how spreading your religion early and getting those verses more quickly could definitely be a benefit. And we might play around with that possibly, but we'll see. I think we're just gonna pick our religion based on look. Typically you'd pick the Sacred Temple, to be honest. If you were picking these based off of what they costed, candles are easy to access, quick to build, and it's only 5 of them. You could get the stuff you need to build a Sacred Temple very quickly. And it just costs materials and timber, and not even very much of either of those things. So the Sacred Temple, relatively simple to build. Otherwise, you're just picking based off of look. I actually want to test the look of the cathedral. I also feel like that fits maybe with the fact that we're playing Mexico. And so I want to go cathedral, even though it is actually probably the worst one to pick. From a stained glass is you get access to a little bit later, costs a little bit more to make. You have to have 10 stained glass in order to build these. But I want to see how beautiful the building is. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with cathedral as our special building, and we will found our religion of madness, and that is what we'll begin to spread. Verses will unlock next turn, so we'll get to see that. From the religion screen over here, you can see the overlay of religions. It will show you kind of who's following what. Right now, it's confusing because we picked the same symbol as the unknown, the unstructured religion, so everyone's just following unstructured. It would be nice if you could change the colors of these. Maybe you can and I just missed it. I don't think you can change. It would be nice if you could change the colors of all of this so that you can mess around with that a little bit more. We can see that everyone's following unstructured, 15.4K following unstructured, which also means that no one around me has a religion, right? And you can also go to global religions and you can actually confirm that, right? Here are the global religions. Here are all the cities. This is actually kind of funny that this screen exists because we can actually tell every single civ that's culture that's in the game, all of the leaders we'd be able to identify. And we actually know how many cities everyone has as well based off of this screen, because it actually shows all of the cities that are in the game and what they follow, despite the fact that we have not actually explored these yet. Again, probably room for improvement here. It would be nice if this did not give you this information. There's too much information here that you just shouldn't have based on the point in the game that you're in, right? It's just like, you shouldn't have that information, right? As that unlocks, we'll be able to see different religions that get founded and things like that. Our religion will show up there in the next turn as we pick our verse and different things of that nature. So let's press that next turn button, see if this army goes and attacks us and what this episode has in store for us. They have moved into the city. It does not look like they are attacking, though. I don't know what they are doing. They've moved into the city. I don't know if that means they're attacking or not. I haven't experienced a ton of war. Usually the battles that I've experienced in this game have happened outside of cities for the most part, or in like contested land. So this is going to be exciting to kind of figure this out. Wow, they lost a ton of health. So the first thing I'm going to do, because I remembered it, is we're going to cancel that action and we're going to heal him up. for several turns here. Luckily, he's standing in our territory, so we get the double heal at 20 instead of the outside of the territory 10 per turn heal. So we'll get him back up pretty quickly, and then we'll be able to do 2 hunts and just get that tiger taken care of. And we'll move through and we'll just do the rest of the hunts like this tiger as well, which is going to take a while, but we'll just get the hunts done that are in our land just to clear them out. If this war ends, we'll go get these 2 easy hunts up here and start maybe exploring some of the hunts in this area that are a little bit more simple hunts just to try to get them cleared. But for now, we want to keep him away from potential death at the hands of a battalion because you can't retreat in this game yet. That is definitely something that I think they've talked about adding, but I don't think they have added yet. But retreat as an option would be a really big deal. I've lost a lot of scouts in other games where a hostile tribe will attack a scout and you can't actually get that scout out of the fight. It's just basically instant death for the scout, which is unfortunate, unless you could like reinforce it before the battle is over the course of a couple turns. I'm not sure I love that mechanic in the game. I definitely think there needs to be a retreat option. I also think that they need a better mechanism for how battles are started. I have done this a couple different times where I try to move a unit away, so let's say I'm in a territory and I'm adjacent to an enemy unit, and I try to move the scout or whatever unit out of that on the next turn, and they're moving into that territory to attack me simultaneously. The attack always takes precedence over the move out. And that feels odd to me that you can't be sitting in opposite territories from somebody. We're not in the same territory. I try to escape out in the opposite direction, but if on the same turn he's moving in to attack me, that attack will always take precedence, which is kind of frustrating, which means like you could get yourself into situations where you just can't get your unit out. And because there's no retreat option, you just end up with a dead unit in that particular case. And so moving units becomes kind of challenging, especially if you're maneuvering around like warring or hostile tribes or warring empires and things like that. Hence why this spearman is just staying in our land right now. If he ventures out here, if he runs into any battalion, that's just dead. We've just lost a unit, and basically for no reason too, because we didn't need to lose him. So we just keep him at home for now and let him do hunts in our territory, which is why we're hunting the tigers and stuff like that. All right, we grabbed some ropes and some lithic tools. We got things going. We got military forces just walking into our city. We have they have a scout up here as well, which is probably fine. I don't think that scout could do much of anything. He's in our territory. He might be there might be like a pillage action coming or something like that. I'm not sure how that's going to work. Madness has been founded. Beautiful. We have an idle unit. This is a tribe that we are actually close to grabbing. They have more rain up here, and let's see how do we want to play this. We come down here, or actually here would be the best spot, right? But again, if a unit pops out, this scout is dead. So we're gonna move down here and hope that they don't have a unit. It's probably a bad play. If our scout dies here, that's on me. We could have moved up this way and stayed away from his cities. I just talked about like not wanting to get my units in trouble, and I put arguably one of our more valuable units into a spot of trouble. So cool. All right, our army is in position, and I believe we're just gonna run an attack on New Agra. So we click here and we will run our siege on New Agra here. And this is just going to be a burn action for us. We're just going to burn New Agra down. We don't want that city. And in fact, as Benito, we may not want anyone's cities because we get that extra expert in our founded cities. So it might actually be valuable just to burn cities down and reform them with settlers rather than anything else, right? So we're also at city cap right now. So if we're going to take cities and keep them, we probably need to think about when are we going to get some more city cap availability and things like that, and what the timing of that might look like. This one is an easy just burn. We don't need to replace it with anything. This one we want to replace. This one we might want to replace. We need another city up here. We're not going to be able to take all those territories, I don't think. Between these two cities, I don't think we're going to be able to get all of this. Maybe. We'll have to kind of play that by ear as we get there. All right. We've unlocked the theocracy government. We are not going to switch to theocracy. Theocracy is great if you want to spread your religion super fast. Again, I just don't see the value necessarily. There's a lot more, the intrinsic bonuses, the policy bonuses are better. For me, with monarchy, we're getting that +10 security and prosperity in our capital. That's probably better than that +2 religious spread distance. I think this is probably fine. The policies are also not awesome. Because we don't have religious improvements in many of our cities. Now, if you were putting an altar in all of your cities, this +5 to all quality of life stats in each city with a religious improvement is not bad at all, right? The other thing that you could do is you could maneuver between these policies, right? We've got +50 build production towards religious improvements. So you could get your altars in at a 50% reduced cost, which is not bad at all either, right? So theocracy is not bad if you want to get those out really quickly. But I think that you're giving up quite a bit here with monarchy. And so we'll keep monarchy for now. We're not going to make that switch. So we will be sticking with monarchy in our empire for now. We have a craft queue empty, which means we have crafted, a bunch of rope. Which means we are probably... Are we close to ready? Did we build our palace already? We have not built our palace, right? We are actually ready to build our palace. And I think that's probably our next play. That will increase our capacity for cities and allow us to potentially... Oh man, this is an intriguing... It's an intriguing time in our empire. Let's take a second to think about what we want to do here. But we might not want to improve those. Oh, you know what we want to do first? Before we build the palace, let's get the docks in, I think. And in fact... Oh, man. I want to almost put a workshop in there. I want to go workshop to get another workshop up and running. Workshop into docks. Then palace? It's only a 7-turn build. I think we should just do it. And then we'll do workshop into docks in our docks territory. I think that's probably the way we're going to do it. Okay. Let's put our palace in. So we want to put our palace in our city center. That's a big deal, right? So if you look at the palace, we'll just go back here. We'll take a look at the palace text again. +1 city cap, 50 prestige upon completion. You get 50% tax income per turn, which is really negligible at this point in the game. And a 5 bonus to all city quality of life stats if built in your city center. So we can only build 1 palace in our entire empire, right? So it's not a per city thing. It's just one per nation, and 1 per city, which I don't know why you'd have that that stipulation, but it's 1 per nation. And you want to build the palace in your city center because you're getting those quality of life stats. I mean, obviously the city cap is nice, but the quality of life stats in whatever city you build it in, it doesn't have to be in your capital, just has to be in your city center. Those are always nice. So I'm gonna put it right here. We know that's in our city center because of the dotted line that they have conveniently placed around our city center now for us. Otherwise, you'd have to be like triple checking that just to make sure you put it in the right place. And we're gonna go ahead and move it up above the butcher shop. Do we want the butcher shop out? Like, yeah, we do. But let's get the palace done first, and we'll get that up and running in that city. Our craft queue over here is also empty. Oh, we didn't fix the craft queue of the other city. We got distracted. So we definitely need a few plows. Wheels have definitely all been used as well. So I think our next set of business is I'm going to set one of these to do some plows and one to do some wheels. So let's do wheels out of here to get those out. We have 12 metal ingots that we could use to do this. I'm not convinced we need to use ingots on wheels. I feel like that's probably not in our best interest. But I definitely feel like we could use 2 timber is not bad. I think we could do that to get these out a little quicker. And we could definitely spare the 2 wealth at this point as well. And let's get like 5 more wheels out from that one. And then we also have this one over here that's not doing anything. We have extras of everything else. We've got someone building those. And so I think we want to get plows out. We've got horses to contribute to that. And do I want to do the materials? Yeah, the mats are fine. So let's do again. We'll just do 5 plows so we have a surplus of those. That way we've got a little bit extra of everything as we need those things. Okay. We have archers, we have swordsmen, and we have archers all available to us in our reserves. We are going to immediately deploy these as a battalion. We're going to deploy them in a wedge formation. Archers, archers, swordsmen up at the top. That's going to get us all our bonuses. Yes, we want to deploy them out of Neza. I'm going to stick with the Neza deployment because we're getting the best benefit from that, and then we're going to have to walk up to go defend up in our more northern city. So let's deploy in Neza. Here we go. They will begin doing that, and we will pick our first verse. Now, here's the verse part of the religion. It's a little RNG heavy. Some people might get frustrated by that. It is a little bit RNG heavy. So we select our next verse, and it gives you 3 options. 3 options, and they're completely randomly generated. Each of them has kind of a theme. You'll see this one is militarist themed, this one is religious themed, and this one is industry themed. Each of the major kind of categories has a set of verses that you can potentially have proc here. It is random. It is generated randomly, so you might get a bunch of kind of garbage ones. You might get a whole bunch of really good ones in one particular thing. This is kind of the RNG of the religion system. Here are our options, and they're not great, to be honest. Plus 25% strategist pick chance. I don't like doing anything with pick chances on... I just don't feel like it's necessary on the Paragons. Like, I'll take the RNG of the Paragon system. We have Devout Discourse, plus 5% Preach and Denounce action strength. We don't even have any of that going on, so that is not particularly useful to us. Or Monument to Eternity, we get plus 6 timber per turn. That's not bad. 6 additional timber just because of our religion. I don't love it, but 6 timber per turn is more than you're usually going to get out of like a logging camp or something like that. So maybe like a free logging camp-ish or something like that. So that's the one we will pick because I think it's the most useful one here. Monument to Eternity will be our first verse of our religion. So there we go, plus 6 timber per turn. And you can see how these are going to become very helpful. You get like, I can't remember what the number is, 12 of these verses or something like that? I don't remember the full number. It's like 10 or something, 10 plus of these verses. I could be very wrong on that, so let me know in the comments how many verses you actually get. But I seem to recall hearing the number 12. That's just stuck in my brain, so I don't know if that's true. You get a bunch of them, and so as you get them, your empire becomes more powerful, well, your religion becomes more powerful, which then will supplement into your empire, right? So not a bad deal at all. There's our religious verse. We can now look at our global religions. We'll see that Madness is the only other religion that is not structured, and immediately 28,581 people following our religion. Very quick turnover of people converting. So again, we didn't have to do anything for that. We just built an altar and founded a religion. So as per usual, I feel like with most 4X games, religion maybe could use a little tweaking. It was one of the bigger complaints I had about Humankind, was that I liked religion in Humankind, but it lacked endgame value. This one feels like it's got good value, but like the mechanics behind it are a little bit funky. You know, I'm not sure. So something possibly for Oxide to think about as they're looking at their game. Okay, so the Gathering Hall's not doing anything, right? Because it is currently like being sieged, or at least it's being stood upon. So our city center is not producing what it's normally would be producing. It's interesting that they could just walk into my territory without initiating an attack of any sort, whereas we have initiated a siege, and it doesn't appear like they did. They just like walked into the land. I guess we could have done that as well. They're just walking in and maybe just going to do like a pillage action or something. We're actually sieging their city. I don't know what their plan is. I suppose we'll find out shortly. We do have an idle city. Neza is idle as well. Man, we could go just about any direction here, right? But probably the best bet here is to get into our docks, right? The reason we want to get into docks is 10% city production, and they actually nerfed this recently. And if you put an expert in it, you used to get 20%, now you get 15%. I think it was a little too valuable, and I definitely agree that it was an instant lock. Honestly, it still is an instant lock with your expert, but we want to get our docks in so that we can get that percent production to our city, which it's nice. Anything you can do to build your production in your city is always really great, right? So we're gonna go docks. We know we want to put our docks in with our workshop, right? The workshop gives us that 25% reduction of cost on any industry building. The docks do count as an industry building, so we get that reduction in production cost there. And I want to put it we're gonna go right next to, yeah. Both of these look kind of cool. I like that it gives you a preview of what it looks like. You can see what it would show up like on the maps. You kind of pick and choose. Like this one actually looks sick. The really big one that stretches along the whole thing right here. That's a really cool look. I wish we would have done that, but there was too many other things in that particular spot. Like this one's got more of a curved look to it. This one's got kind of a straight look with extra dock spots on it. So we're gonna go with this one right here. I like that. So 7 turns, we'll get that built in, and then we'll start moving experts around and doing different things with that. Okay. We are mustering, and we are rocking and roll. We're also sieging on the next turn, so we'll get to see what that looks like. All right. Oh, wait. What's this? Let's make sure. Do a quick double check. Okay, nothing is idle. And we rock and roll. We are in their city, doing a siege. They are now also sieging our city. So, it's gonna be very close. This is gonna be very close. Oh boy. All right, on the same turn, we initiate a siege, they initiate a siege, and on opposite cities. And now they have another battalion coming through. This battalion does have a swordsman in it, and now we have a potential issue. Do we send? My assumption is that they're gonna come down and try to defend. They've gotta come defend, right? If they don't, they could go after one of our other cities, and we might have to pull out of our siege. And we need to send a unit, we need to send our battalion up here to try to defend our city. I don't know if we'll get there on time, to be honest. It's gonna be, what do we got? We're coming out of this. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's gonna take us 4 turns after the muster, so 5 turns. I don't know. That's gonna be very tight. We'll see what happens. They got another battalion coming in. We may need to switch over to more military. I thought 2 wedge formations was gonna do it, but if this wedge does not redirect to this fight, and instead starts to attack one of our other cities, then we're gonna want another wedge out there, right? Unit idle, that's this guy. We got to see what's going on here. They do not have another unit up here, so we're good there. And so we can just start moving away. Let's move here, I think. All right, here we go. Okay, so we have a choice. We can spend 50 materials, which, I mean, we've got 575. It's still a pretty decent chunk. We get 5% research per turn for 5 turns. That feels negligible. Otherwise, we get 3% research per turn. Again, you can't see this is behind my head. We get 3% research per turn for 5 turns, or we get 5% research for 5 turns, or we get plus 20 relationship with Italy, minus 20 relationship with Italy. Again, right now, we're sitting neutral with them. I think we just spend the materials. We're at war. We're clearly kind of struggling, actually, in this war. They've got more... The AI is just doing weird things. They're not defending the way I thought they would, or attacking the places I thought they would either, which maybe is a good thing on their part. I think we just need to maintain a good relationship with Italy for the time being. So we're going to go ahead and do Great Minds Think Alike and just build this thing with them and get the extra research and the extra relationship. Seems like a pretty easy decision to make. And then both of our main cities have now increased their population, and so we can pick where we want to go. I think the obvious choice is to start circling around to over here. So that's arguably, I think, what we're going to do. So we ought to take this one into this one. We can also do this one into this one. They're both exactly the same, though, so it doesn't particularly matter. I think we'll just go here to here to here. I think that's going to be the play. And also they're really nice land. They're 5 zone territories. It's absolutely beautiful, right? And we can actually put some stone pits in over here, too, because they've got a lot of materials in them. So let's jump over here. We'll confirm that. And we have an extra expert as well, which we'll be putting into our docks as soon as we get that up and running. Right now, we're running in the timber, which I like. We're running at the grain and at the granary, which I like. And we could technically get our apothecary stuff out a little faster, which is not a bad idea. I think for now, actually, we probably just want to put them in the workshop to get the workshop cranking a little bit faster. We can also go back into the Great Hearth to be able to get that 5 gold per turn, which is not bad at all. But I think it's probably nice to get some good crafting in. So let's go get some extra crafting done. I think we got to switch to another wedge. We got to get another wedge formation out. We might even have to buy it, to be honest. Because we're mustering still here. Ooh. I think we're gonna have to do that, right? Another wedge out. I wonder if we should even go with like a horseman like type push. Let's go ahead and switch some of our cities into that. We want to be able to, obviously we need to be able to retaliate for whatever is going on right now. So I think we'll go swordsmen and archers. We want to get the swordsman built as quickly as possible. We could rush that for what, 112 gold? I think we just start rushing stuff, right? We just start rushing swordsmen. And we're going to do the same thing in Neza. We're going to go ahead and queue up our archer here. We'll bump that up. And we'll probably just buy it out. The buyout cost is 187. I mean, we're basically going to empty our coffers doing this. Yeah, so we'll build an archer here. We'll rush the archer out. and then we'll do one more archer, probably out of the capital city on the next turn to be able to get that out. Man. Okay, well, at the end of this, we're going to have 3 pretty powerful wedge formations, and so hopefully it will open us up to be able to retaliate. Maybe successfully. We're under siege here. What's that? What does that look like? This is obviously stopped. The siege just says we're taking a certain number of damage. Estimated turns remaining 4. I think we're going to be 1 turn away. I think we're going to be 1 turn from our army being able to get here on time. Or can we jump into the fight from here? Do we have to be in this territory? Or can we jump into the fight on the outskirts? That'll be the deciding point, right? Mustering has begun. It's going to take another turn to get them out, though. And so we will see. Really, I think the key point now is, where is this battalion going? Because if this battalion heads to this city or this city, we might just have to let this city get sieged and either burned or taken away, which is a real pain. But if they take it, we can go take it back. If they burn it down, that would be a real bummer. But we may just have to defend using this battalion that's about to come out and then retaliate later. Okay. There we go. Weaving has been researched. And they do look like they are now going to move to defend, which we're totally fine with that. We should be able to take this fight still. We have a wedge formation that is much more powerful than theirs, so we're gonna sit on that. We're just gonna keep our progress going and hope that they continue to try to defend. That opens us up to attempt to get these guys into this fight. That's the goal, right? All right, let's pick. We get to go into the next era, so we're gonna move up to ironworking, into the Iron Age, and so it's actually a 2-turn research for us, which is crazy. So we'll go ahead and select ironworking. In 2 turns, we'll be moving up. And we want this army to get into this fight. I don't know. Again, I think we have to get we have to get all the way to this territory, and I just don't think we can make it. We're not going to make it in time. So we just try to get them up there. When we get to this territory, we'll see if we can, like, jump in to the fight from here. But I don't think we can. And we're only going to hold out for 3 more turns. Okay. We have crafted a plow, a wheel, and a wheel. That is not surprising. That's kind of what we're doing right now. We can no longer receive baskets from Italy. Oh, we're not receiving anything from Italy anymore. You guys got grain? I will take some grain, please. Give me some grain. And what else? What are the short ones again? We get fish pretty quick. We don't have fish right now. Let's do fish. Let's try to get some fish. Leave your fish in so I get your fish. That whole trade thing has been a real pain. Been a pickle. All right. They have moved in my assumption is they're going to move to defend. Or they're going to try to attack this city. But they didn't move into it. I mean, they had to go somewhere anyway from here. That'd be funny if they started burning this down. It's like everyone's burning everyone. Like, it's just, everyone burns everyone down. Okay. Unit idle. We're just going to keep this guy exploring, so we'll just keep him moving up here. And our city of Neza is always that 1 turn behind our capital city. So there we go. We got a growth in Neza. And we actually know that in Neza we can take this now, right? So that's a pretty easy growth for us. This one's got some really nice food. We actually don't have to take this one currently. We don't have to have that one. We could come up here and grab, like, the access to the pigs. That's only a 3 territory, though. We could grab this too, so that we have a place to put a wonder when next we would like to build one. That's an option as well. The other thing I'd love to know is, are these 2s out here? Which we can't know right now because they don't give us access to having that information still. But I'd love to know if one of these is the 2, because then we could pick one of these and be able to grow out to it. So maybe that is the play then, right? If we know that we want potential access to a 2. I mean, this is a 2, so we'd always have access to that if we chose to build a wonder on it in the future. Maybe we'll just leave it. Maybe we'll just go up here to one of these really potent ones. Like, Merida is really nice. We just take this as like a 5. Just because it's a 5, we just grab it. I like that idea. Just grab this. It's a nice territory. We also have an extra expert. In 7 turns, we're going to grab a docks with that expert. But for now, we actually have, like, nowhere to put this guy. Get +5 city security over here. And we don't need it. We have 100 already. So I guess we'll put it in the gathering hall. We don't need the security. Oh, wait, we do! We're 5 down! Neza! Perfect! Beauty! We're back to 100! Get us that 50%! That's a big difference, too. It's a big difference. Our wedges just got much more powerful, eh? Okay, so this guy's moving his way up. Gonna be there on the 4th turn. I think we're gonna be a turn behind to get into that territory. Highly unfortunate. All right, spearman, and we need one more spearman, so we're gonna come over here. Sorry, we need one more archer, so we're gonna come over here. We're gonna grab the archer. We're gonna bump the archer to the top, and the buyout cost is only 112 here, which is why I wanted to do it here. So we'll buy out that archer, and we will get our next wedge formation out. That wedge formation will jump into Neza and then probably come across this way and make sure that we're defending against any other battalions that start to come in or reinforce this fight, however we choose to kind of maneuver them. Okay. Act transition. Another nation has advanced to the Iron Age. I mean, I think that's that just me? Someone else is in the Iron Age? Who's in the Iron Age? Unknown. A forgettable nation has in fact moved into the Iron Age along with us. Interesting. Interesting. Another nation has advanced the Iron Age 2 turns ahead of us, and it's somebody that is lower in the standings that has done that. It's kind of fascinating, actually. So we'll have to see what that ends up like. All right, let's see what this army does. They have moved in to defend the fight, so there we go. Well, actually, they're 1 away, right? They're in this tier. So now we know that we do have to get to the city center in order to defend this, right? So they're 1 away from the city center. They're going to be 1 turn. They're going to be 1 turn late as well. We're going to be 1 turn late. They're going to be 1 turn late. Kind of funny, actually. That's kind of funny, actually. So hindsight, what I'm thinking, and you can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Hindsight, we may have wanted to take the spearmen and just go and attack this battalion just to delay the burn. Like, we would have thrown away the spearmen, but we would have gotten extra turns to be able to get our wedge formation up to be able to actually defend this. And that would have probably been a smart play. I'm thinking we could have run that fight. It would have interrupted the city burn or the city siege, right? And then we could have then come up with our wedge formation and done that. That's probably what we should have done in hindsight, now that I'm starting to understand those mechanics a little bit better. All right, I've got a new zone, crafted a whole bunch of different things. That's always nice. Our spearman is healed again. I'm just going to let him heal all the way before we attack it. Then we can attack it twice, then not have to worry about it. We got some baskets being consumed as well. We should actually check that on all of our cities, what they're consuming. I think it's probably fine, but... All right, final unit. And this will take us out to the top of the map. Let's just pop out the very top. We'll just get a look there. We haven't looked down here yet, but I don't really want to... Probably going to cut this scout up here so we can find out what's going on in that direction. Eventually, we need a scout down here to grab this, but I think we're fine for now. All right, Archer has been trained, and we can now deploy our battalion in wedge formation. We're going to go swordsman into the right spots. We're going to deploy out of Neza. Let's get them off and running. And now we are militaried up. In fact, let's check. From a military strength standpoint, we are now sitting at 63, but I don't think that includes our latest people that are mustering now. Caesar Beccaria is at 162, and Ashoka's at 81. So Ashoka keeps on building military as well. So we're up against it here on this continent. All of the top military powers are on our continent, because we also know that Hildebrand of Germany is up here somewhere, and she also has a very big military. So probably a good thing that we ended up being forced to military up when we did, because we would have been in trouble otherwise at some point. So this is probably a good thing. 3 wedge formations sounds like it'll be enough. Not against Italy, but currently we're sitting pretty with Italy, so we'll have to see how that ends up going. Okay, I don't think we need another wedge formation, but if more units start popping out from Delhi, like if we start seeing more armies come through, then we'll switch again. And we got the goal to buy out 1 more wedge formation probably. So we'll probably maneuver that way if we have to, but I feel like 3 wedge formations with that 100 security rating in Neza should hopefully do it for us. We have 15 turns left in this war. I think we're going to lose this city eventually, but I guess we'll find out. We got a religious verse available. We get another verse very quickly. 40,000 people following madness. And again, we're the only religion out there. So there's no one else competing with us right now. Again, one of the reasons why you want to get that altar out quickly. Let's see, what do we get? We get minus 25 research cost of science techs. That's not bad at all. Plus 3 craft production in your capital for each region within it. Whoa. And plus 5 religious spread strength in all cities. So we got 2 really good ones. Minus 25% research cost of science techs. Oh, okay, I see. So there are different types of technologies. Oh, that's kind of cool. So like coinage is a commerce technology. So what's the science tech that we're about to go up to? There isn't any. There's no science techs in the Iron Age. Oh no, here it is. There is science ones. There is no science ones until antiquities or beyond. So it would not be useful to us right now to take this until we get to antiquities, because like it's only the science ones that are reduced. That's probably good, because the way I was reading it, I was like, if all science is reduced by 25 costs, like that's insane. So it's just certain techs are science technologies and not military technologies or other things. So it's science affiliated tech, 25% reduction, which is pretty good still. But I think this lasting legacy has got to be the one we take, right? Plus 3 craft production in your capital for each region. I mean, you're talking about how many regions we got. That's an immense amount of craft production, and I'm assuming that applies to all buildings. Craft production is the bonus production that is applied to only improvements that are crafting items. Right. And that's huge in our capital, so we could just stack producing things in our capital based on regions. I mean, this sounds like it's going to be immensely powerful. So we're going to take lasting legacy. Now we get our timber, we got our lasting legacy. Again, starting to see the value in religion in this game. And let us progress. New religious versus active. We go to the next turn. Ironworking has been researched. We have access to the blacksmith and iron, which is going to be very, very important for us. Metal tools. This is a big research that we have just accomplished. That gets you access to some things that you really want to have in effect as long as possible. My encouragement in any game of Ara, as soon as you research and get into the Iron Age, get a blacksmith up and running and get your iron mines up and running, because you need that iron to make the metal tools to do so many different things in the game at this point that it is incredibly valuable to get iron mines online and to get your blacksmith cranking on iron ingot on the iron bars or whatever, right? You need all the metal ingots, I guess is what they are, I believe. You need those to do so many different things, and so you just want to start cranking on those as fast as you can. So we'll have to see how much iron we ended up with in our empire. We now have to choose our first tech of the Iron Age. The Iron Age is fine. Like it's good. I feel like I don't know what like the specific direction is you should probably take. Something like cultural heritage, where it's worth the 25 prestige, is something that, even though we're really far away from our next golden age, might try to just hold cultural heritage until we get to that point so that we can get the bonus on that. You've got other buildings that are potentially useful to you. Be able to craft some coin with the mint. You have access to walls, and then obviously increasing some of your units, like getting up to bowmen. That might actually be very useful for us. I believe it's the Great Lighthouse is the only triumph that is available in the Iron Age. So if you're looking to build triumphs, the Great Lighthouse is the only triumph that pops up in the Iron Age. It is a pretty good one. It gets you +3 available merchants. So if you're doing a lot of trade and you find that trade valuable, it is valuable to jump and do the Great Lighthouse. We also get access to our monument. That's probably the most important of the buildings in this era. It gets you +1 prestige per turn if built in a city center. So again, you probably don't want to build it in the same one with your palace. We'll probably build this one in Neza. But in your city center, you get a prestige per turn. Prestige is how you win the game. So you want to get this built as soon as possible to start getting that prestige over time. Every turn, you're going to get an extra bonus prestige. So we want to get that out as quickly as possible. Hospitality is another really big one. You want to get access to the inn. The inn is a very important building. The inn, I don't know if we started this game, it won't work in this game, but the inn can now be built and was updated to be able to build, you can build one in every city. The limit initially was 1 per nation. I think ours will still be 1 per nation because of when we started this game, pre-patch, pre 1.1. So now you can build one of these in every city, which makes them they're still just as important, but they're a little less important. I feel like getting them out fast in our game is going to be important because we want to start to get cranking on these, the gourmet meals, which are incredibly valuable, and eventually, basically, they replace your feasts when the feasts go out of, you can't craft them anymore when you get into the next act, and so you want these gourmet meals starting to stock up so that you can replace them as your feasts, basically, within all of your cities. They're also just really valuable. And the inn is one of the only places that can craft said gourmet meals, so you want to be able to do that. You also get access to garments and looms and textiles and things from that standpoint, and so that's very good as well. I'm gonna go monument first because I want to get that monument in as quickly as possible. Siege warfare is like debatable because we upgrade our bowmen, like upgrade our archers to bowmen, and we would just be rocking and rolling, you know. But I think I'm gonna go monument first. We want to try to get that building in as quickly as we can. Let's go monument. Probably go monument into hospitality, into siege warfare if we need it. We could debate whether that's the right play or not. But let's see. Let's see how the next turns kind of take us. They are now defending their city. So yeah, we definitely should have moved up that spearman to interrupt that. We definitely should have moved our spearman as soon as we saw that army up there, just to interrupt it with a fight, right? Let's check our battle. We are expected defeat in 5 turns. Uh-oh. So because they're in a city, fortifying, I get. How is their modifier higher than ours? Because they're defending? They don't have as good of units as us, from my understanding. But they have gotten some sort of... Their base strength is 17. They're getting a modifier that's higher than mine. Where's the modifier coming from? They have an infantry modifier of 33. They have an anti-cav modifier of 67. But we don't have... So the bonuses are all the same, so they have some sort of defending bonus, essentially, which you would expect in a game like this. So they are having some... but the funny part is, like, we were sieging their city, and then they moved into it and then acquired a defending bonus? Kind of fascinating. Well, let's watch the battle. It's actually quite a large fight. Expected outcome is defeat in 5 turns. They have a 36 strength. And I'm assuming... If we check the details, it doesn't, like, give us that information. Huh. Interesting. We're losing a ton of health compared to them, so maybe the spearmen are better than we gave them credit for? I'm not sure. I thought our force was much more potent than theirs, but I guess it wasn't. We should be able to reinforce into that, right? We've got our next turn. We get a wedge out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my gosh, we're not going to be able to reinforce that either. This is turning into a debacle. Oh no. Oh no. Should we send this spearman to reinforce it? We reinforce with other battalions. How many turns would it take? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's the same amount of turns. He might as well just keep healing. Alright. Well, such is life when you play a 4X game. Oh, what is this? What a fascinating little piece of land here. Let's go find out what's going over there. Marsh! I don't know what to call this city. Marsh is expanded. We like that. We kind of know where we're going, right? We want to go down here. Look at the value down here. Holy smokes. That is huge value. Multiple excellent expansions. We also want to get access to the coast and then eventually get access up here. But I think we'll go here first. I feel like that one's the obvious choice. They're getting a dwelling. I think after we claim this, we might want to switch them to getting this grain online, this grain farm first. Yeah. Our besiege was interrupted. We knew that. We are mustering another force here, which is hopefully going to defend. We are losing this city in 1 turn, and we are going to be 1 turn away from being able to do anything about that. We're about to find out what's going to happen when that occurs. And there it is. We have lost our city. The city is officially not in our hands anymore, and we are 1 turn away from reinstigating if they choose to keep it. If they burn it down, then it's burnt down. you know? And then these guys, we need to reinforce this fight, right? If we can get there. I don't know if we're gonna get there. If this wedge dies, then the second wedge can come in and just crush this battalion. They're gonna be super low on health. But I definitely underestimated the defense bonuses, especially defending when I was already besieging. I think that feels odd to me, but such is life, I suppose. Okay. We've converted one of India's heretic cities and unlocked the Holy War Casus Belli. Beautiful. They're now converted to our religion. I'm just going to have this guy hunt. He can hunt twice, so we don't have to worry about it because he's at full health. And, yeah, loss, defeat in 4 turns. Feels not so great. This guy can sneak up here. Let's see what's going on up here. And we're going to press that next turn button, I think, one last time. I want to see what happens over here. One final turn, I think. In this episode, we did not go very fast, but we're at war, and I'm trying to figure out the mechanics of this, which we're not doing a great job of. But we're learning a ton about how to handle war in this game, and the fact that, man, you really need several defensive armies scattered about in the case of this. I really hope they choose to keep this city, because if they raise it, that is going to make me very angry. I mean, we'll just craft something and get right back out there again, but that's a lot of territories that we lose if they choose to raise said city. Let's find out. They burnt it down. I am appalled. We were 1 turn. Wow. Our 3rd largest city burnt to the ground. And now I feel like retribution is needed. I feel like retribution is needed. We're about to lose a wedge formation down here. Wow. Wow. Defeated 3. We're going to be close. It's on the 3rd turn again. We're not going to get there because of that. We're 1 turn behind on getting everywhere. They're attacking us, which is fine. Victory in 3. So we'll defeat that battalion. Oh, I can't believe they burnt it down. And that means that we will immediately be switching to a settler. And arguably we just buy that settler out. What's the cost on that? 250? We just buy this out and just walk back up to the same spot and just put the city back down again. Like this, the Italian city is going to claim that up, and we might lose access to like the good stuff that we had on there, right? We had access to all this stuff. We got to get back up here with a settler now, just to be able to get our city back up and running to have that city, because we want that city spot. That was the city spot we wanted up there in the first place. Oh man. Oh man. Oh, look at these tiny little territories here. Go this way. They don't have baskets in, so yeah, we go baskets. Got plenty of baskets in production, so let's get some baskets in there. And they've got an extra expert now, which means we literally have experts in all of our buildings. We're gonna get them in the docks as soon as we can, but we just do that for now. Nowhere else to slot them currently. So there we go. And there we go. Neza has surpassed our capital in growth. Crazy. Wars interrupted here. Yeah, that's unfortunate. And that will do it for this episode. Tragedy befalls our Mexican empire as our 3rd largest city is sacked, burnt to the ground by India in a surprise move where they cut an army all the way across, didn't fight in the spot where I thought they were going to fight. We predicted incorrectly, and we were not able to get a defensive force up in time. Again, hindsight, now that I understand how it works, I should have sent my lone spearmen just to interrupt the siege, right? Then our wedge could have come in and reinforced that fight. We would have been able to win and not lose the city. So that hindsight, that feels like good knowledge now that we have the knowledge, right? So even a single unit meandering around to interrupt bad things like that from happening, just to give your armies time to maneuver and move around, is something we could think about, for the future. But now we have retribution to seek as we continue our episodes. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like the content, hit that thumbs up button and make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on. More Ara to come in the next few weeks. Until then, have a great Have an excellent time. Have a great week. Enjoy the holiday season. I hope you're enjoying it. And I will see you next week.